So welcome everybody. I just want to say, do you fancy a hot chocolate with whipped cream on the top? Perhaps some sprinkles or marshmallows of some sort? How would you feel? Would you be okay with that? Emotionally? Would you be okay with that? Contented, excited, happy, joyful, disgusted, sad? What if I told you that, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was going to say it's a little cold here. Well, it's warm here today. It's supposed to be cold tomorrow, so.
Okay. So what if I told you the hot chocolate you just drank contained an ingredient that was damaging to you? What would your emotion be then? Would you be worried, anxious, angry, enraged, sad, have fear? Oh, but it didn't really. They made a mistake. They apologized. So how would you feel now? Are you overwhelmed, still doubtful, frustrated, contented, hopeful, happy? Welcome to Examine Your Emotional Ingredients. So let's explore. You're going to need a pen and paper or device during this event. Okay. Now we've got to get the slides to move. There we go. So emotions have played a major part in our lives, and some have been amazing and many not. And examining them and getting an understanding of what they are and how they work has created a fundamental shift for both of us, both Dani and I.
So basically, to us, examining your emotions is freedom. It's the freedom to be in control. So during this event, we will help you to find your own freedom by knowing what your emotions are, knowing what contributes to your emotions, honoring your feelings, understanding the impact of your emotions, being free to imagine the freedom that you want. We're going to teach you how to create your own emotional recipes, and then we're going to have a meditation to help you really embrace the positive emotions.
Okay, so let's start with a bit about what emotions and feelings are. So emotions are really your body's reaction to what you're thinking, whether you're thinking on purpose or not. And in most cases, it's our thoughts that create emotions. Your belief system and other unconscious thoughts are happening on autopilot all the time and often cause emotions. And sometimes you've absolutely no idea why you feel the way that you do. But how you feel is your body's way of providing the physical effect of your thoughts and emotions. And on top of what we do, of course, we have our primal response of fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And I think there's another one, and not too worried about that right now. But it's also referred to as our acute stress response, which I think resonates more in today's society, as there's a lack of saber-toothed tigers, but there is plenty of stress experiences. And I think that there's many around the world feeling those right now. So just as a moment of reflection, and for those people that are in very heavy trauma right now. So fight is facing any perceived threat aggressively, and flight is running away from danger. Freeze is you're unable to move or act against a threat. So you're completely frozen. And fawn is immediately acting to try to please, to avoid any conflict. And the fight or flight response is a physiological response triggered when we feel a strong emotion like fear. And fear is the normal emotion to feel in response to a danger or threat. But it also has a close relative. Fear relative is anxiety. And that's what many people are feeling in today's world, anxiety and anxiousness. Our problem is our physiological response is being triggered often.
The feelings you get associated to the emotion can include your skin, blood vessels, face flushing, cold hands and feet, your muscles which tense up or may even shake, your stomach causing nausea and butterflies, your mind with thoughts racing, lack of concentration, feeling dizzy or lightheaded, and pain, although the perception of pain reduces during the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. The stress response occurs when the demands of the environment are greater than our perceived ability to cope with them. I mentioned belief system earlier, and there can be a belief beneath the emotion. Some possibilities might be fear, I can't handle what's coming, I'm not safe. Anxiety, I don't know what's about to happen, it might be bad. Disgust, this is not good for me, I don't want it, I need to move away from it as quickly as possible. All of these elements make it all the more important to understand what we are experiencing, why we are experiencing it, and to have strategies or recipes in place to allow ourselves to be and stay in control. And to do that, we're going to take you through a 4-step process.
Step 1, we will create a list of emotions and become conscious of them. So to do this, it might require some digging. So just like preparing to climb the mountain, you're going to explore your experiences and the ones that generated your emotions. And this is going to give you the base on which to start to climb to your freedom. In step 2, it's about understanding the emotions at a deeper level. And we're going to help you do that with some questions. Step 3 is where you get to choose by identifying actions that you can and will take in order to manage the emotions. And then step 4, this is where you take everything that you've gathered, all of the information, and you create your recipe. And this is the one that will give you the taste of freedom, because it's going to tell you exactly what causes it and what you can do to process it. And it's what works for you. So we want to make sure you have your pen and your paper, or if your computer, whatever you need to type up some notes, write down some notes, and it's time to think.
Yeah, bring your mind with you. Okay, so let's start with step 1. We want you to think back over your day, or if it's early in the day, think back to yesterday. What experiences cropped up and what emotions did they invoke? So how about yesterday, or earlier in the week or month? Maybe you want to go further back. What are the stories of your life that have raised significant emotion? You could pick one of those. What emotions were they? Write them all down, as many as you can think of. Write down the emotions. There's some there on the screen just to give you some ideas, but there will be others. There are many. I think there's something like 254, but we won't go there. I don't think we've quite got that amount of time, but just write down all of them, as many as you can think of, the ones that you know and feel regularly, the ones that have got that negative charge. If you're happy all the time, then you can write down happy, 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 happy. Become conscious. Trish.
So we are focusing on negative, or not really? Just emotions that come.
I would focus on the negative charge right at this moment, because it's the ones that you want to create the recipes for.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is you can go back through this and list your positive ones and create recipes for them as well. We're focusing on the negative charged emotions today, because usually those are the ones that we have the strongest reactions to.
Yeah.
You know, people usually don't mind if you're happy or joyful, but if you're feeling angry
or fearful or sad,
fearful,
you want to work your way out of those.
Yeah.
So that you're getting yourself into a more positive emotion. So Dani, do you want to start the timer?
Yep. Going. And like Heidi mentioned before, as well as listing the words of the emotions you feel, if there are stories of your life that have raised emotions, you can just jot down notes about that as well, and what emotions those brought up.
And write down the name for the emotion that resonates with you. It's not about whether it's a right name or a wrong name, because it has meaning for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's whatever word comes to mind for that emotion.
And there's no right or wrong answers. So if you feel stuck, you can write about how you feel to be stuck, if you're frustrated or irritated. This is just about everything that Heidi and I do. There's no right or wrong answers. It's what works best for you.
Mm. If there are particular emotions that invoke a physical feeling, capture that. Write that down too. It's about listening, observing, and allowing.
We have about 1.5 minutes left to go. If you finished, you can go through and associate any physical feelings with the emotions if you have physical feelings. We've got about 30 seconds. And time.
Okay. So now we're going to move on to step 2. And to do that, I want to pick your number 1 emotion. So out of the list that you've written down, Pick one, and that could be the most frequent, or it could be the most problematic, or if you prefer, it could be the most uplifting if you have written down some positive ones that have lifted you up. So just pick one. My number one emotion is that you want to work on. And then you're going to write down what the trigger or cause was for that emotion. And there may be more than one trigger or cause, and you can start to explore that, but you're going to start to explore the storyline here. The specific experience that prompted the emotion, because the emotion has got an experience with it. How did your emotion affect you? Write down the feelings you experienced, what you felt and how it made you feel. So start to explore you're creating your storyline now around a particular emotion. Dani's going to give you 5 minutes.
Yep, timer is started. So as we go through, I'll just ask some more clarifying questions. What was the trigger? What was the specific experience that prompted the emotion? How did your emotions affect you? What feelings did you experience? Maybe what specifically you felt and how it made you feel. And if you want, you can expand it further. So what did you do or say to express the emotion? How did you behave when you experienced this particular emotion? What kind of energy did you radiate? And how did your energy affect others with or around you?
You're digging deeper with this to really get to understand your emotion.
We've got about a minute left. So if you figured out the trigger and the specific experience and how the emotions affected you, you can also think about the energy you radiated, your behavior, and even how your energy affects others that are with or around you. We got about 30 seconds. We also have a handout that if you're interested in, you can let us know and we can send you from this event as well. So you can go back and do this with other emotions. All righty, Heidi.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to move on to step 3, and you're going to choose some actions that will help you get your emotion under control. So think about, it might be something, it might be anger, for instance, and you're wanting to choose some things that would naturally help to bring that sense of calmness. What would help you to diffuse that emotion or to make you feel better or brighter or lighter? So we've already got a list of directions for emotion recipe cards, which are free to download, and the link for that will be in the handout if you need that. And each of these have a more detailed instruction behind them. And the names are here purely as to act as ideas for you. But it's about choosing a sequence of actions that works well for you and allows you to move through the emotion effectively, because that's what's important. And the more you do it, the more your mind and body will learn that new pattern, because it's learning a new routine that says, oh, I'm feeling this, now I'm going into these actions. And it gets quicker and easier, even to the point where you're in and out of an emotion and you hardly notice you've even been there. It can be that quick. Mm-hmm. That's not to say that you should be going through them so fast, but it's about enabling yourself to do that when the time is right. And having more actions than you need can also be helpful. So it might be that for a particular emotion, you choose 12 or 14, but each time you might say, actually, I'm just going to use these 3 or these 4 or just this one, because you've already started that patterning. And as soon as you start the process, you find yourself moving through the emotion. And you get to pick and choose in the moment. But having the list to hand and knowing in your mind what you're going to do, what action you're going to take. It's a bit like they say, you know, if you're going to go on a diet, pre-plan your meals. Well, if you're going to have an emotion, pre-plan your responses. Think about how and what you want to do. So this is just going to disappear for a moment while we set the timer for you.
I was going to say, you might want to put that list back up.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, we'll do. Oh, sorry, wrong way. It's not good. Why is it not going? That's it. No, why is it? That's weird.
Did we mention that Heidi and I also show you how to gracefully deal with technical difficulties during these presentations?
And you know what? That's about emotionally not getting stressed about it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I used to experience anger at varying degrees every day, interestingly enough, and then I mastered that emotion. And actually, this is a prime example. I'm not angry about what's happened here today, because I've already got in here a sequence of things that I'm doing that gets me very quickly out of that frustration or irritation or whatever the particular emotion happens to be. And I used to go through my daily journal where I tracked them. And I've, in this last year, or in fact, even longer than a year, I've only had 2 instances of anger out of a whole year, because And they were only momentary, because I don't even use all my actions. I've got specific actions in my recipe card that's my go-to, but I don't use them all, because as soon as I start, that moment has gone. And it's the daily routine that says I practice this every day. And as I do the first couple, as I say, the anger's gone. And then I get the anger replaced by emotion that shifts me to a positive, joyful place. Oh, is Dani frozen on us? I think she has. Yes. Okay. I'll say Dani's bit for her, shall I? I'll pretend to be Dani now. Chris will tell me that I'm getting this wrong. So Dani still experiences intense emotions, but she recognizes what she needs to do to process them. And this week, she's actually had to sit with the emotion of anger as a result of disappointing herself and another person. And she felt angry at herself because she forgot an appointment. But she caught herself going down into that emotion. She allowed herself to feel her feelings and worked herself out of it. And her experience of intense emotions and the frequency has significantly reduced, because it's about having the right actions and activities to help you pass through. And I seem to have an experience that I'm experiencing a lot right now, and that's actually sadness. With the deteriorating health of my mum-in-law, who's aged 100, seeing the struggle my husband's having because of what's happening to her, what's happening in Ukraine and surrounding countries. So it's hardly surprising that the emotion of sadness is being triggered. But there are many actions from this list that I use at different times. Things like breathing, give help, gratitude, honoring my feelings, know I'm in control, meditation, pause and consider, show compassion, sleep, smile, take a break. Those are on my list for sadness. But what I realized was the ones that are missing for me was journaling, what's happening and how I feel, physical health, which has taken a bit of a back seat, setting boundaries on my time for other people and tuning into my mind and body. And those ones are now going at the forefront of my sadness recipe. So it's about, even once you've created a recipe for your emotion, there's nothing to stop you looking at it later on to see what's missing and what can I add. So it's a never one done. It's about reflection over time. So I'm going to give you a 5-minute timer because Dani's not here. Oh, their power's gone out apparently. So I'll set the timer for 5. But as you've already been having a little bit of a go at doing this, I'll set you for 4 minutes. So have a look at these against that emotion that you wrote down, the one that you're going to work on. What of these would help you in moving through that emotion effectively? And it will take time and trial. The magnitudometer, which is a made-up word, was something that I actually created for a boy at school because boys had called him rude names and horrible names, and he came out of his class so angry. And I happened to be in the class, outside the class that day. And we sat down, and on a list, he wrote a list of 1 to 10. And 10 was what made him angry, the most angry in the whole wide world. And the thought that came to mind for him was if someone hurt his dog. So then we moved down to number 9 and 8 and 7. His brother came quite high because his brother used to lend him all sorts of technology. So that put him quite high if anything happened to his brother. His mum and dad came down at number 2 and 3 because they told him off. So they were less important on his Richter scale, if you like, of being angry. But what was interesting was when he got down to 0, not once had he written down what had made him angry in the first place. And what that helped to show him was actually sometimes those things are less important than we realize. And by just giving it that little bit of attention, and he now uses the magnitudometer as one of his tools for anger. So it's just about something that's effective and quick. It can just help you give a bit of reflection time. The negative emotion, don't wallow. It's quite a key one. And I think looking back on my own past, I realized just how much I'd wallowed in some of the anger emotion by allowing myself just to stay there and repeating the story in my head that had made me angry. So it doesn't mean to say you can't stay in an emotion, but it's about looking at saying what benefit is it giving me by being there? Do I want to carry on feeling the way that I feel? So you've got just under a minute.
Sorry about that, Heidi.
That's okay.
I'm back now. We have a windstorm happening here.
Okay.
And our internet blew.
And what emotion did you feel as your power went out?
I felt frustration.
Okay. How did you manage that?
I took a very deep breath.
So you
and
did some
exhaled
breathing.
A lot.
You did breathing. Number 1. There you go. Real life. I told your story for you. I don't know whether I did it well or not, but
It's good. I'm sure you did fine. I'll find out when I listen to the recording.
yeah. And then you can message me with the emotion that you felt listening to me telling your story. Yeah. Okay, we're timed out now. So we did that. Okay, so in this example that I've put on the screen here, I've shown an anger recipe card, and the example was for someone who felt anger from resentment. So, and I've realized I've made a mistake on the left. It should say resentment, it says frustration. So apologies for that. But the ingredients listed on the recipe card on the right are just simply the definition of the emotion. And these were ones that I'd researched from a few sites, and I used some common definitions. But there may be other definitions you find that resonates with you more. And that's about you just understanding what is it that generates that particular emotion for you. So the shopping list on the right is the list of words that are related to the emotion. And resentment is highlighted there as it related to the example. And the directions are the ones that could be used to manage this emotion. And in this example, they used just smile, the 90-second rule, choose to see the good in people, and journaling. But there are other ones that they could pick up on and use if they so chose. And what your recipe card looks like is entirely up to you, but having one and using it is where the benefit comes in. It's your recipe to get emotional freedom, not to prevent the emotion, but to manage them well so they don't stay for too long or get stuck. And having great directions for each emotion helps you to shift into or keep you in a better emotional state. So you can have an emotional journal where you're saying, what emotion did I just feel? What prompted it? How did I feel about the situation? How did it make me feel? And what am I going to use? And those are your directions. And then you can go on to, like in the example, journal what made you feel that way, and then how you felt after you'd moved through the emotion. Because that's how you start to get that emotional intelligence of learning of what's going on, how you're feeling, and what you're going to do. So that's just an example.
It would help if I unmuted. We're going to spend a few minutes. I'm going to set the timer, and there is a storm happening here. So
Okay.
But we're starting the timer. You get 5 minutes, and just spend a few minutes crafting your recipe card. What will it look like? And how will you go on to create it? I don't know if you want to put the recipe card screen back for people to look at.
There we go.
And think about, creating it. Think about where you can keep it as your go-to, especially if you're feeling an emotion a lot. And how many will you create?
You could go for the 154. I wouldn't recommend it starting.
Well, I'm all for Greg McKeown's effortless and essentialism. So I would start with the emotions you really, really want to work on first.
Yeah. What's your top 5?
Yeah.
Top 1, top 2. Yeah. The ones that catch you every time.
Mm-hmm.
You may just want to have a simple sheet of paper that has the name of the emotion at the top and your directions, and keep it as simple as that. Print it on a tea towel. So that every time you're angry, you know what you should be doing instead of throwing the glass. Although that might be one of your directions, throw the glass and then work your way through some others.
Yes, I like Trisha's idea. Just have a cuppa.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. What are you doing while you're making the cuppa? Are you doing your breathing? Smiling? Changing the physiology?
So I am going to put a link into the chat in the event my internet goes down again with the meditation, just because it's pretty stormy here, and I just literally got a text that there's internet issues in my area.
Okay.
So hopefully there won't be a problem.
I like that, Cynthia. Just breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
I used to have that on top of my desk at work. Just breathe.
And if you put your hand onto your oh my God points, and that's not a joke, but if you put your hand on the front of your forehead and your other hand on the back while you're doing your lovely deep breathing, that helps to bring the emotion down as well. It's an energy technique.
Got about 1 minute to go.
Okay.
I love the suggestions for getting cold cloth on the back of your neck.
Yeah.
I have a friend who swears by primal screaming when she's angry. She just goes out and screams as loud as she can for as long as she can.
Yeah. It's actually one of the emotional intelligence recommendations when you're in that state of anger or high emotion is rant. Just rant or vent, whichever word resonates with you. But ranting or venting helps to release some of that energy.
So we're actually at time for the 5 minutes. And I see we have a question from Natalie. Is the recipe card about the emotion in a given situation, or is it general? Basically, you want to list the emotion and every possible scenario you can come up with for dealing with it. So I guess you could say it's general. You might use certain techniques in certain situations, but okay. So what is your go-to positive emotion going to be every day? Happiness, joy, excitement, delight. And what is the trigger to invoke this emotion? So what is the specific experience that prompts the emotion? And what actions will bring this into reality? And you can create a recipe card for this after the event, but right now we just want you to think about this positive emotion because we're going to do a meditation based on it. So basically, what is your go-to positive emotion going to be every day? So if you could choose how you want to feel every day, what is that go-to positive emotion going to be? Would it be happiness, joy, excitement, delight? What would you like to feel if you could choose it every day? Yeah, I'm going to repeat the questions, Trish. So the second one is, what is the trigger that will invoke this emotion? So you want to feel happy. Maybe smiling makes you feel happy. So you could smile when you want to feel happy, or pour yourself a cuppa. You can
talk to a friend.
Talk to a friend. So what's the trigger or experience that makes you feel happy or joyful or excited? And then what actions will bring this into reality? So you can just jot a few notes. You can come back to this, but we're going to be using it in the meditation, which I'm really going to hope works. I did put the link to the meditation in the event I get booted. And the bonus is you can go to that meditation and just do the meditation whenever you need to, whenever you want to embrace the emotion that you want to feel. All right. So basically you're looking for the trigger and experiences that prompt the emotion and what actions. Yes. Having an attitude of gratitude. Exactly.
Yeah. So if you want to feel joy, what are you going to do every day that's going to bring you joy? What can you do more of every day that brings that joy? Hopefully you've all got one. So Dani's going to take you through a meditation now to embrace that emotion.
We're going to hope that it works. And if it doesn't, you get to practice techniques for dealing with the frustration if I get cut off. See,
exactly.
We totally planned this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How much frustration can we cause with technical difficulties? All right, so we all experience a variety of emotions through our lives and throughout the day even. And this meditation was created for when you want to change or embrace an emotion that you want to experience more often. So in our workshop, we've just offered you a bunch of tools to really discover what contributes to your emotions and what triggers them, and how knowing this can better help you manage. So if you have your journal beside you while you're doing this, that's great. When we're done, we'll give you a few moments to take some notes. And just a reminder that we're offering the tools that we use to help manage our emotions. So we're not medical professionals. We're just offering what's working best for us, and our content is for informational and educational purposes only, and it does not substitute professional medical advice or consultations with healthcare professionals. So, getting all that stuff out of the way, and if you felt frustration or another emotion from all of that, you can breathe through it or deal with it. But right now, let's begin. Let's have some fun and meditate. So close your eyes and let your body just settle in your seat. Inhale in and exhale. Release any tension. Inhale. Notice your breath. And as you exhale, just feel the tension leave your body with every exhale. Feel the support of what you're sitting on. And feel your body relax every time you exhale. Take a moment to connect with your body. Close your eyes. Bring the attention to the bottoms of your feet. Can you sense any tension there? Inhale. Let your breath go all the way down to the bottom of the feet. Let it grab onto the tension and exhale and release it. Just imagine your breath grabbing onto that tension and taking it out of your body. Bring your attention to your knees. Inhale. Bring the breath to your knees. Grab onto the tension and exhale. Release. Bring your attention to your hips. Inhale, breathing into the hips. Grabbing onto that tension and exhale and release. Focus your attention on your belly. Inhale into your belly. Grab onto any tension with your breath and exhale and release. Let it all go. Bring your attention to the neck and shoulders. Inhale the breath to your neck and shoulders. Imagine it grabbing onto any tension and just release and let it go. Focus on your face. Inhale, breath into your face. And as you exhale, just feel those facial muscles relax as you let go of the tension. Now focus on the top of your head. Bring the attention there. And this time, inhale the breath throughout your body, through the toes, to the tips of your fingers, the tip of your head. Grab onto that tension and exhale with a big release. Let that tension go. Bringing your attention back to the tip of your head, connect with your imagination. Imagine yourself in a bright white space. You are perfectly safe in this space and in your journey forward. Take a moment to connect with the emotion that you want to feel. Imagine that this emotion is manifesting as a door in front of you. Notice the door and explore it. What color is it? What is it made of? Is there a handle to turn? Or can you just push it open? How do you feel when you touch the door? Does it reflect the emotion you want to feel or not? Do you feel excited, maybe a bit curious to see what lies beyond it? Know that when you walk through this door, you will have complete access to the positive emotion that you want to experience. This door and what is beyond it contains keys and clues for you to connect with this emotion at any time. Open the door, if you haven't already, and walk through. What do you see through this door? What kind of space are you in? Take time to walk about. Using all of your senses, experience it. What do you see around you? Things, people, places, colors? What sounds do you hear? Music, talking, nature? What do you smell? What do you taste? And what do you feel? Where are you feeling it in your body? As you explore this space, know that each experience carries an energy. If you look closely, you can see the energy start to rise up from the space around you, the things, the people, the environment, the colors. Just imagine the energy's just rising up, that happiness, joy, excitement, whatever it is you want to feel. And it comes up, it comes towards you, and it surrounds you in a swirl. And then the energy just hugs you. It infuses into your own current energy. It raises your vibration, causing you to feel lighter. Maybe you want to laugh or giggle or smile. Welcome the energy of this emotion into your mind, your body, your very cells. You can return to this space at any time. Take a last look around. Gather up any other energy that you need. And imagine being surrounded by a white light as you return to your body. Take a moment to place your hands on your heart and thank your body and mind for the experience. Let your heart fill and let the new emotion pour over and out and through you, filling you up. Just bask in that emotion and how you feel. When you are ready, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, maybe sway side to side to get that body moving. And gently open your eyes and take a few moments to journal about what you experienced. Know that you can return at any time. We have a recording for you. And I want to mention that paying attention to the details of what you see, felt, and heard can give you more insights, clues, and connections. Doors and doorways have many meanings. And by noting what the door looks like and is made of, it can give you clues to your emotion as well. So feel free to write down what those things mean to you personally and what they could mean. Play around and see what happens. You might surprise yourself.
Thank you, Dani. Just a closing thought. I value myself more than negative emotions. My positive one was fun. My door was ended up being made of jelly, which made me laugh. And it was blue and red and yellow. That was quite interesting to get through the door. It certainly made me laugh and was completely unexpected. Yeah, brilliant.
Definitely a fun door.
Absolutely, absolutely. But your imagination, let it flow. Let it be creative.
And you can always go back and try this with another positive emotion too. It's not limited to.
No, exactly.
I love that. Marie wants to know if you had to eat your way through the door, Heidi.
I didn't eat my way through the door, but interestingly enough, with the things that were cropping up as I was wandering around and seeing what cropped up was the smell. When Dani said about the smell, I could smell candy floss. Well, candy floss is something I don't want. So my subconscious said, oh, it's not made with sugar though. So, which was really funny. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
I want to encourage people too, with the doors, look up, write down first what the colors mean to you personally.
Yeah.
It's really important because sometimes what it means to you personally is more important, but you can also have fun with this and Google like what colors mean. You can Google what doors mean and stuff like that.
Yeah. So do we have any questions, thoughts, shares, or feedback? That's interesting. Yours kept changing. One point it was smooth and swung toward, but didn't have a handle to pull. Could you push it?
It kept changing. So at one point, like then it did have a handle, but then it was teal and it was a swing door that just kind of went. Well, I think the first time was one of those, like I pushed on it and it came towards me.
Ah, so, oh, okay.
Like that
one
kind
of those. Yeah.
It could have been, but
yeah.
But I have to tell you, Dani, when you were doing the breathing part, when we were grabbing the tension, it started every time you gave the instruction to breathe in and grab. I was kind of feeling these little like fish hooks, like fishing hooks, grabbing the tension up and up and out. And then every time you hit the next part of the body, my field of what I was looking at was getting lighter and lighter. So it was starting from this, dark place, and it was lighter gray and brighter white. And then by the next thing you know, you're saying, now you're in a white room. I'm like, yes, I am. I really am.
Excellent.
I love it.
It just was progressing to right there. Thank you.
I love it.
Brilliant. And Mari, I like that essential oil of candy floss. Brilliant idea. I love it. I'm going to get some now.
I love it.
Did I have to eat my way through it? No, I didn't. Definitely not.
And I think too, when the doors, sometimes when we do meditations, like they'll be like, you want to see one particular thing, and sometimes it changes, and that's okay. I discovered one time, I was doing a meditation and they were like, imagine a house, and the house kept shifting to like a modern house, to an older house, to a young. And I finally realized I just didn't want to commit to the house. Like I just let it happen. So in meditation, when you have moments where things shift or change, just go with it. Don't try to make it into something it's not. Just let it flow and let it go.
Yeah.
Because there's a message in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
Absolutely.
I like that.
Love
Audrey.
that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Use the door to close people out from saying negative things to you. Safe place. Exactly. You have the power to create anything and everything that you want, and anything and everything you don't want.
Mhm. Yep. So we are at time. We're actually after time. Did you want to talk about changing emotions real quick, Heidi?
This is going to be really quick. Can you change your emotion? Okay, so you're a toddler. You're in tears. You can't have the toy you want. Very distressed. So you're their mum or their dad, and you shift their attention to reading a book or playing a game. And within seconds, the tears have gone. Their thoughts have changed. Their emotion has changed. Suddenly they've gone to having fun or enjoying themselves. The same applies to grown-ups. We can shift if we allow ourselves.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to go to our YouTube channel, we have some of the other workshops that Heidi and I have done. We've done one on beliefs. I totally forgot how many we've done so far. It feels like a lot.
This is number 4, I think.
This is number 4, yeah. And we've got one coming up next month. We have not titled it yet, but if you're interested, let us know, and we'll be posting it on the different platforms again.
And if you do want a copy of the handout from the event, which has got copies of various things in it, then just drop us a little message in the chat now.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll make sure we get that to you.
Glad we could help, Victoria. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Trish. Yeah, I know, Trish, you in the Beliefs workshop, man, that.
If you're in Lifebook, then we'll be able to find you. If you're not in Lifebook, then to drop your email address into the chat so that I can
send it privately to Heidi or myself.
Yeah, you can private message us in the chat. And equally, if there's specific subjects that you'd like Dani and I to create an event around, then you can let us know.
All righty.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for your time. And have fun. Have fun with it. Play with it. Get your mixing bowl out and your wooden spoon and get those lovely ingredients in there.
Yep. And if you have any questions or aha moments that you would like to share with Heidi and myself later on, we would love to hear it.
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.